Okay, so we are starting a new unit on logarithms and logarithmic functions, and it's a brand new thing. You guys have never seen logs before. Today you're going to just do a really simple, straightforward handout where you're going to be doing some graphing. I'm going to show you how to type the stuff into your calculator here, so if you'll know how, hopefully, by the time you get to it, and just answer questions about x and y intercepts and domain and range and end behavior and the kind of questions you've been answering the last couple of units. So hopefully everyone will be able to answer them. It is something that should get completed, so try your best to just finish it in class. We probably have a little bit of time tomorrow. So just so you know, here we're going to look first at logarithmic functions with a base of 10 and also with a base of e. Now e is a special number. I don't think we've seen it before. Maybe we saw it briefly in the last unit. We did see it briefly in the last unit, but remember, it's just a number like pi that's on your calculator. That's just underneath pi actually, and it has a different value. It's like 2.71, etc. It doesn't end, just like pi doesn't end. So this here says that logarithms are a brand new operation. They are just like multiplying or exponents or trigonometric functions, like when you were in grade 10 and you learned sine and cosine. So they are an operation that we do to numbers. They give us a way to solve equations that have variables in the exponent. So the last unit, we had situations where we had to solve problems where the x was in the exponent, and we had two choices. We could either get a common base, okay, and if that wasn't possible, we had to graph. That was it. Logs give a way to solve those equations without graphing, okay, the ones that aren't possible to find a common base. So they are considered logs. They're considered the inverse of exponents. So that's the same as how adding is the inverse of subtraction. They're considered opposites. So here, our logarithmic functions are going to be in the form of y equals a, so some number a, log base b. Okay, we call that the base. So we call that log with a base b of x. And then it gives us a bunch of requirements. So it says log b must be greater than 0, b cannot be equal to 1, a cannot be equal to 0, a and b are real numbers. That stuff doesn't matter so much. Okay, now the next thing here is to look at 3 graphs, and you guys are going to have to graph these on your calculator. So I'm just going to show you the buttons to press so that you can graph them. So I'll pull up the calculator here. Okay, here's your calculator screen. So if I'm trying to graph, oh look, and this is from the day we were talking about e. E is 2.718, 281828. Okay, so if I'm graphing this first one, log 10x, okay, log base 10x. Okay, the way I do it, okay, I go into my graph here. Okay, now if you have a TI-84, then you can do this. Most of you do. You press alpha F3, no, sorry, alpha F2. See, so sometimes I forget. I don't always know where I'm going, but it's alpha window, so alpha F2, and it brings you this list. And you'll notice number 5 is log base. So if you go to number 5, okay, it pulls it up for you. So you just press 5, and I want log 10x. So I put the 10 down here, and then I put x. Okay, easy enough. Okay, I'll go over that again in a second, but then when we press graph, we can see it there. And it looks fairly similar to what we looked at before. So now 2 log 10. Okay, so if I wanted to do that again, if I wanted to do 2 log 10 now, I'd go 2. Okay, I go alpha F2, pick number 5, 10, x. Okay, just like that. And graph it and see how it looks different. Looks a little different to me. Not super different necessarily, but I can see, some differences in it. One thing to note, that this calculator makes it look like the graph ends right here. It doesn't. Okay, that graph continues down forever towards the x-axis, the y-axis. Okay, so it's just getting closer and closer to the y-axis there. forever, even though it kind of looks like it might end. It really doesn't end. Okay, if I look at something like trace 0.0001, okay, it does tell me, look, my graph is at -8 there. So even though I can't see the graph, my calculator does know it exists there. It's a little weird. Okay, now if you have a calculator that is older, and if that's the case, I'm sorry. The way you're gonna have to do this is not pretty. It's one of the worst situations. But what you have to do is you actually have to do 2 logarithms. So if you're trying to do something like log base 10x, what you do is you do log x divided by log 10. Okay, and that is equal to, that's equivalent to log 10x, like that. Okay, so the thing with, and this is when I was in school, we didn't have the templates, and these are always how I had to type them. So I'm used to it, but it is a little confusing. The x, which is in the bracket, stays on top, so it's log x on top, and the 10, which is, I kind of always thought of it, it's kind of down, like it's in the subscript there, it's towards the bottom, goes down and becomes the dividend thing. So log x over log 10 is equal to log 10x. So that's how you have to type it if you have a TI-83. Okay? If you wanted to type 2 log 10x, so if I wanted to type 2 log 10x like that, I'd go 2 log x, that's just a button on your calculator, log bracket, make sure you close your bracket, divided by log 10, and they'd be the same. I can even watch, look, if I graph these, they're going to be the same. See how the red line is entirely on top of the blue line? So you can see they're equivalent. Okay, now after that, you're going to have to graph something we call ln, which is the natural logarithm. It's a logarithm with a base of e, but because it gets used a lot in a lot of real life applications, we've just developed our own thing for it. So you'll have to press that, but that's just a simple button. That's just right here underneath log. There's the ln button. So when you're graphing ln of x, you just go ln of x, and that's how it's pronounced. It's pronounced ln. Okay, so you're going to do this worksheet. I really suggest working on it and trying to get it done as much as possible, answering the questions to your fullest capabilities, so that tomorrow it's close to finished. I can just help you polish it up. That would be my suggestion. Sorry I'm not there. I'm not feeling very well, but I should be back on Thursday. Okay, also a reminder that for grads, which is most of you in the room, that Friday at 3:45, Sir John has invited us over to do some ornament decorating and gingerbread house making. It should be a lot of fun, and it's really, really good of them to invite us, so I hope we have a good turnout. If you want to do a gingerbread house, you need to bring a kit or some material, but if you just want to do an ornament, that is supplied for you, so it's a great idea to come out and do it. We will be decorating our grad tree in the next couple weeks, and using those ornaments would be awesome, so if you come, that's a perfect chance to get that done. Okay, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Try to get this finished in class today.